We're back, Seven Rivers Racing at KQEG TV. Welcome on in. Al Ossie, Dan Dyker, in the preseason of auto racing here in Western Wisconsin. We are giving you the quirks and the ins and the outs. We stay away from the rumor mill because usually that is false, and then we get slapped upon once we get to the racetrack. You can always check Facebook for those kind of things. Go. Our guest today, Billy Doc Niles, a mid-pack legend on the program, and we're breaking down the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway schedule this year. Beyond the racing action that goes on, we're looking at some of the entities that are going to be bringing more fans in. Billy, this year, besides the Spring Spectacular Street Drag starting the week of the season off, a teacher feature. We're going to have an actual race of area teachers this year. So we've got the preacher features and the teacher features.
That's so I said I can't call them preacher features anymore because now they're going to do a teacher night. What is that, May 19th, I believe it is?
May 19th.
Yeah, they're gonna you know, you've seen the faster pastor races where they bring in all the area pastors and you know, and let them turn them loose on the Hornet cars. So now they're going to try this with area teachers, which should be pretty cool because they're going to allow students with their IDs in free that night. So you're going to get all the high school students up in the stands checking out their favorite teachers, and it's towards the end of the school year, so that's going to be pretty cool to get all the teachers in there, get all the students in there, and have a good time.
You know what I would love to do is I would like to make a Holman section and an Onalaska section of
Central,
La Crosse, Logan, Central, West Salem, and have them sport through. I want to try to promote this. I'm going to talk to Chuck about it too. Try to promote the different sections of the track. So you've got purple and white, and you've got the Panther colors, and you've got red and white for Logan, and you've got Sparta with gold and red. I really think that would be a neat picture to see.
Go Holman teachers.
Yeah, he's a Holman Vikings fan. Also coming up again this year, it's been hugely successful the past. I think this will be the third year at the La Crosse, the Buck Nights, where pretty much everything is $1. We're talking beverages, we're talking food, almost across the board.
And we get to do it in the pits too, which is cool. So, well, unless
they have my triple cheeseburger for $1.
You know, I'm surprised that they still do that because once you get by the food stand, there's none left for anybody. But Buck Night,
a lot of onions. Come on, man. I don't like relish.
That's why nobody gets around you. But you know, Buck Night has been hugely successful for the Speedway the last couple of years. You get a lot of people in the stands, and if you don't know what Buck Night is, basically you pay your admission fee to get in. Everything in the stands is $1. That double cheeseburger that Dan eats. Triple. You know, the sodas, the popcorns, the adult beverages, everything is $1 right across the board. Hugely successful with the fans. It's really good. It's really cool to look up from the pits and see a full stand on a Saturday night. And it does happen. It doesn't happen always on Buck Night. It happens a lot of times during the season, so it's one of the cool events that the fans like.
Next up, Saturday, June 2nd, you don't have to wait till Oktoberfest to see the Mid-American Stock Car Series. They will make an appearance at La Crosse this year. Both you guys, besides myself, this ought to be kind of interesting to throw the Mid-Americans in the mix this year.
We're very involved in it. With the Mid-American Series, with the feature winner when they do the presentation of the trophy.
Right.
And I know that everybody loves the Mid-American Series.
Mid-American Series is probably one of the more popular lower dollar series in the Midwest. They really put on a good show every Oktoberfest, and it's been a good 4 or 5 years since they've been able to come on a weekly show. So it's going to be cool to see them come out and put on a really good show for the fans that night.
And there are some local drivers here that are involved in it. Tom McClintock.
And Danny Gilster was allowed to race with them last year, and it wouldn't shock me if he got to race with them when they come in June. So he did really well in that class last year, and I expect him to do just as well again this year.
Middle of June, you can expect the first Smash-O-Rama, which is widely attended, 4,000 or 5,000 fans up there, and that's one of those nights I love announcing on the racetrack. All the energy just starts going into watching stuff get smashed and cars get trashed and T-bone crash, steel wall.
You know, and we usually plan a family weekend during that just to get away from the races, but I like coming home on Sunday nights and watching it on KQEG.
Right.
And I'd have to say one of my favorites is the airbag explosion. I just want to see him throw some Jello or some soup or something and just watch go boom.
4 years ago, we put the trunk monkey Caleb Miller on one, and he got about 15 feet off the ground and almost couldn't drive that night because his auntie was hurting. Also,
a little hemorrhoidal, was he?
A Tuesday night race this year, the Star Spangled Spectacular. If I can get that out, I'll get all the stuttering out before I'm actually at the racetrack.
I'm stuttering too.
The Big 8 late model series will be making their presence known before Oktoberfest this year, so another group of cars that we're used to seeing at Oktoberfest are going to make a big splash on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, and they ran a really awesome feature at Oktoberfest this year. They expanded from 48 laps to 68 laps, and it went green, all 68 laps. That's the first time since they've been racing here at La Crosse that they've gone green to checkered. And Skylar Holzhausen just put on an awesome show. Did not have a great qualifying effort. Started just a little bit past the midway point of the pack, and by lap 60 he took the lead, and it was an awesome victory. So look for some more great racing from that series for July 3rd.
Now Al tells me that there are 2 other races scheduled, July 7th and August 11th, that my only duties that night are to handle the microphone duties, because if I try to envision getting in one of these cars, they're going to saw me off at the knees. Yep. The American Super Cup Series not only coming once this year, Al, but twice.
And they're a lot of fun. I have seen those vehicles. They look exactly like a Winston Cup, I'm sorry, a Nextel Cup, Sprint Cup. Sprint Cup car.
In there a little bit.
a little bit of that old tech director coming out.
Yeah, I think so.
Your check's in the mail.
These cars look really, really awesome. And as Bill and I were talking with you earlier before the show, he has seen them race before, and when they're coming down the straightaway, when you don't have the based on your vision, it looks exactly like Cup cars coming down
it's been quite a few years since they've raced here at La Crosse, but the last time I saw them was at Rockford Speedway about 3-4 years ago. I went and raced down there on their season ender. And if you've been to Rockford has high banked, quarter-mile high banks, and the pit area is coming off of turn 3. So if you stand in turn 3 and you watch some cars coming off the high banks up against that wall, it looks like the Cup cars racing at Darlington. So it was a pretty cool sight, and I'm looking forward to seeing these guys come back to La Crosse.
Well, they're going to be here twice this year, and then also a race that was started last year, may have been in the past, but it was rejuvenated last year, was the Late Model Showdown match race, which was really interesting to call and to kind of watch some of the top drivers when you talk about the Quick Trip NASCAR Late Models of La Crosse. That's coming back as well. And then we cap things off October 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th for the 43rd Annual Oktoberfest Race Weekend. So again, if you want the complete schedule, check out lacrossespeedway.com. When we come back, we're going to hear a little bit more about the mid-pack legend last year and this year on Sable Rivers Racing.